Hello everyone and welcome to Quality Old Games. Today we are having part 8 of the Eastern Roman Empire campaign in Rome Total War Remastered Barbarian Invasion. And at the moment the situation looks rather promising. So the only issue is that our eastern cities are besieged at the moment. And of course there is plague in Alexandria, and we need to recapture Lepsis Manga, but both of these are under work currently. Interesting that's okay if those get selected, but not otherwise. And I think we will form an army to take Lepsis Manga, and that of course means that we are going to need some extra troops to Carthage to keep up the public order there. And put a ship right here, it will bring quite a benefit for trade, so let's build it. And otherwise, I think we should continue troop production here where those extra troops are needed. And so this army here has moved already. This army is not supposed to move anymore, this turn at least. Of course, we might want to go to check out the settlement there. Let's see if they are willing to buy map information.
Regretfully, we must decline.
Okay. So I guess they want to pay a bit more. Or then not. Okay. But let's bring that diplomat there so we can check if the city there is ripe for taking. And unfortunately here, I think we will manage to beat the first army, but there will be the second army, and I guess that will be a bit more difficult. So we need to utilize at least the city center. And in addition, or actually I'm just a bit afraid that there are no stone walls here. So that will of course increase the difficulty. Oh, there is stone walls. Excellent. Unfortunately, there are quite a few ladders here, which will of course make the battle more difficult. It's a good thing that we have the comitatenses. And then we have some peasants to act as meat shields in front of the rest of the troops. So, let's see how the Sassanids fare here. Of course, if they were to break down the gates and the tower would burn, I guess that would be optimal, but apparently that won't be the case.
The enemy are at the walls with ladders. Now Roman bravery must be proved anew. The walls are no longer ours. The enemy have taken them.
Oh, and they managed to capture that tower as well. That's unfortunate, because it should have been able to fire here. So let's hope that at least some of the enemies will go this way around, so they will get shot, and maybe some would go this way around as well. But we will see. some missile units with this army would have been beneficial. And can this tower get some shots off? Yes, it can. Excellent. And it seems the enemy general is also in. So, they lost about 1/9 of their army. And I think we want the enemy to engage us fully before we start our counterattack.
The gods have filled the heart of the enemy general with fear. Now he flees the field like a coward. Great gods be praised. The enemy general is killed. Fear makes a home in our enemy's heart.
And the enemies are running rather nicely here. And I guess they will give it one more go. And I guess the towers can fire a couple of more shots. Let's hope the army gets completely annihilated. So, the first Sassanid army is broken. Unfortunately, there is a spare army nearby. Okay, so the siege of Ctesiphon has been lifted, and that of course increases our financial opportunities. So let's remember to put the merchants in place. So our Sakian mercenary, or rather merchant. And actually, I have to admit that I'm somewhat surprised how good these merchants actually are. I had no idea that they can achieve this high amounts of profits, especially when compared to those of Medieval 2. which I think are usually just waste of money unless you can put them into a really good location. So this is a positive surprise here. So can we see with which cities we are trading? Salona, Mediolanum, Rome, Tarentum. Well, let's take that resource there. And still one more merchant. I guess he can go to Gaul. I guess at the moment those merchants are gaining us thousands of denarii per turn, which is rather nice. So, the siege of Ctesiphon has been lifted. I think it's time to retrain the troops and then train some more. And as siege of Hatra has been lifted, the same goes here, except we want to combine these guys, so we have some room to spare for extra troops. And I think we want to train some extra troops in Sinope as well, and some public order boost there could be beneficial. And in Salamis, I think we need to build this proconsul's palace. And in Arsakia, I think we should get the city under control rather soon. And then we have this army here. And I guess we want to combine these troops, and let's see. So we have some mercenaries available. They should become handy. And by the way, rather decent admiral there. And then this army here will target Massilia. And I think we want to take the city ASAP before that Roman army can actually cause us some troubles. And of course Arles is quite near there. And perhaps we could send an army out of Sirmium to conquer, is that Vicus Gothi there. And of course we need to train some additional troops in here to maintain the public order. And perhaps we should send a general with the army. So I guess this guy can go, and perhaps we could send some of these mercenaries so they can be useful there. And this way the army won't rebel. And I think we are ready to finish the turn. Oh, we have another family member in Kydonia. Unfortunate. Oh, we have some ships. Nice. So that family member most certainly needs to go somewhere. And we have a turn. Okay, the Goths are trying once again. Let's see what kind of army they have. I think the position here is rather decent for defensive purposes. I think we should be able to hold back the enemy. Even though I think our legionaries are starting to need some reinforcements rather soon. But then again, I think the strength of Goths is almost depleted. And maybe some mercenaries should be hired to aid in the defense here. At least those horse archers should go down rather quickly. I guess we need to have loose formation here. Interestingly, the enemy general is quite far behind. And I think it's time to target. Those enemy missile cavalry units. A bit surprising how well we are actually doing against these enemies at the moment, because I think always in the early game pretty much we don't stand a chance against these hordes. The troops just break and run. And our generals shouldn't be that good in any case. So, but if they want to throw their, if the Goths want to throw their men away, that's fine by me. But I'm just wondering, does the Eastern Roman Empire and Western Roman Empire have some kind of moral penalty in the early game? I guess they shouldn't, but I think the army here performs so much better than in the early game that there might be something. By the way, it's interesting that the Huns managed to charge right away. And of course, now Sirmium is in trouble if the enemy decides to invade there. Fortunately, they decide not to do so.
Can I be of service? Security, sir.
Okay, there are some Sarmatian auxilia. I think I need to do this manually because the losses might be a bit too high otherwise. And there won't be anyone on the walls, so basically we just need to minimize the losses. Perhaps sending these eastern archers wasn't the best choice, but they will get the job done. So we need to take at least these 3 and likely some towers from this. Oh, we actually need to go quite far. So basically let's take these towers first,
Now is the time to press on and capture this place.
and then we need to continue forwards. So basically we need to take this tower here and this tower as well. And I think now we should have what we need in order to get into position we want. Perhaps the archers would be able to start harassing the enemies there. And it's time for the rest of the army to push forwards. And actually it seems the archers are able to do something. And it seems the enemy general decided to join the fray. And we don't want the general to lead the chase. Okay, excellent. And we have a victory. Nice. And the city looks rather large. So we should have decent enough loot. And with that loot, I think we should be able to prepare another army to continue the fight somewhere else. Okay. And what's the problem in here? I guess it's just growing too much. Okay, some slight culture penalty. Distance to capital squalor. So the population of the city is not that large. Okay, that's actually quite interesting that they are that unhappy. Oh, and now we have these Equites Clibinarii. I think we will make Equites Cataphractii as well. And I guess this invading army needs to turn back. And reinforce the defenses in Sirmium. And of course here I think this army needs to position itself there so we can block any entry to the area of Thessalonica. And here the southern army will continue to push. And I think we can lay siege there next turn. In Syracuse, I don't think we want to build anything at the moment. Ephesus is a bit unhappy. How much money would those mines bring? At least some. And perhaps those roads. Okay. So roads won't be useful there, but let's make some additional garrison. And so much for my training a new army. Okay, Arsacia should... the situation there should improve soon. And in Sinope, just wondering, should we raise another army to march against Kotais? But perhaps we could bring at least these eastern archers to Hatra and take an army from there soon against the Sassanids. And it seems in Alexandria the plague has abated, which is excellent news. And once again, I think we have a turn, but let's bring that cavalry unit here, so we are in position to strike against Augusta Vindelicorum if an opportunity presents itself. And now it's interesting to see what the Huns will do. Fortunately, they decided to go on their own way. So we want to take charge of that fort. It will offer some semblance of protection at the very least. And I think we will take cavalry units with us and move against that Gothic or former Gothic city. And I think this whole army could use some retraining pretty soon. So maybe we should just train some additional troops for that army. It seems the siege of Caesarea has been lifted. That's good news. And I think after one more turn, an army from Hatra is ready to move out. And here I think we will also train some extra troops. Ctesiphon clearly needs some circuses. And I think Arsacia should be okay rather soon, and we can take our army westwards from there. And let's check that our merchants are in place or getting there.
Your Honor. Your Honor. Securing resources, sir.
I think the income could be higher from somewhere else. For example, here.
Securing resources. Yes.
And I think from Massilia we could send the majority of the army forwards. Oh, there were actually 2 rebel armies there.
Besieging settlement, sir! Besieging settlement, sir!
Well, let's take that for the Rat infantry, even though it's quite bad. And there are so many defenders that I think we will just try to starve them out. So Arsacia is still rioting. Okay, it shouldn't do so anymore. And the Goths are once again in areas where they are kind of allowed to be. And I think we have a turn. So we need 3 more regions to be victorious. Okay, it seems we are about to lose a merchant. Yeah. I think we will just smash our way through here. So basically I think smashing through from 3 different sections should be enough. And I think also that missiles will play a key role in the battle here. We have a bit too much cavalry, but let's try to do with it.
At the walls! Now they must batter a way through. Our soldiers have done their work well. The battering ram has broken through the gate.
Nice of the enemy comitatenses to come this way, so we can get some shots off
Show no mercy.
on them.
The enemy walls are down. Make sure their soldiers are buried beneath the ruins.
Of course, it would be nice if the enemy general decided to come as well. And it seems the Limitianae at least are coming here. So basically, we have managed to take down the comitatenses altogether. And likely the Limitianae will face a similar fate. And probably the peasants as well. So basically we need to handle one Sarmatian auxilia and general's bodyguard. Time to get in.
Our soldiers have captured the walls. Now is the time to press on and capture this place.
And is it really so that the Sarmatian auxilia might be attacking us? Apparently not. So, let's head this way. Oh, actually the enemy general, if he decides to come, that would be really nice. Oh, I think we need to use that first cohort against the general's bodyguard. And once again, by the way, we should be able to get into rather nice shooting positions here. And I guess it's time for these guys to fire. Oh, and the bodyguard actually is joining the fray here. Okay, excellent. So, a cavalry charge, I think, will be enough to take the city.
Fear makes a home in our enemies' hearts.
And it's time to finish the battle here. Nice. And Als is ours, and actually we should be able to get quite a bit more out of it in terms of finances. And it's actually possible to recruit some Plumbatari there. That's nice.
Yes. Securing resources. Yes.
Your Honor?
Sir. Awaiting your command. Sir. Your Honor.
So it seems our merchants
Awaiting your command.
are in position
Awaiting your command.
almost.
Securing resources. Your Honor. Securing resources. Sir. Awaiting
Okay,
your command.
good. And from Hatra, I think the army will just march forwards. I think we can leave the Limitane and peasants here. And let's leave that as well, because it's rather weak unit at the moment. And let's try to improve the public order there a bit. And I think some mercenaries, especially missile cavalry, will be useful there. And in Arsacia, I think we can move out with this army. And Fraspa will be our next target. And of course some mercenaries there will be beneficial as well. And let's see, the Siege of Lepsis Manga. I guess it wouldn't hurt to make those battering rams in any case. And from Als, I think we could reach one Western Roman city there in a couple of turns. So we might want to do that. And can we make some investments? I guess that's good enough. And in Ephesus we are building mines. What about Tarsus? The shipwright will bring quite a decent amount of extra money for us. And I think at the moment the game is beginning to roll forward rather nicely. Oh, and then we had this army here. So Colonia Dacia. I think we will just besiege it and wait for the enemy to sally out to meet us in the battlefield. And we have a turn, I guess. Yeah. And it seems the Goths are heading towards Italy. So I think we will follow them with this army here. Oh, the Huns are coming. So basically that means that we are not going to assault the northern areas here. But instead we are going to reinforce the defenses of Ravenna and Mediolanum. And I think especially we are going to need some archers, which of course are not trainable there. But in Rome they are, and train them we will. And here let's leave some garrison here, while the rest of the army marches forwards. And of course we need to hire some helping hands there. The question is, can we hold when that enemy army decides to attack our back? But we will see. And perhaps we will take that city first there. And next, let's see the situation here. No mercenaries available. What if we decide to attack? Probabilities are favorable to us, but since this is very hard difficulty, I have some doubts how well we would fare in tight spot there. And since we have nothing better to do, I think this is a turn. Except Tarsus is growing and the Huns have arrived. So Tarsus will need to have Proconsul's Palace next turn. Okay, so the Sassanids went past us, or by us, and the Romans besieged Arles.
So, securing resources.
Okay, Cyrus of Arsacia has drawn his last breath, and I think we want to take this city. Quite heavy casualties actually, thinking about the defenses of that city, but the loot at the very least is nice. And Artaxarta here will be our next target. And I think the Sassanids are about to go. Have some reinforcements there. And let's see what kind of additional defenses we could still scramble in these cities. And not to forget Rome. So I think we want to train Plumbatari, since they take only one turn to train. And here let's get some additional mercenaries, while the enemies in the city, their number is getting lower. We are only getting stronger. us a decent enough battle, and Purdikala is open before us, practically. Because of the small number of defenders there. So, the real question now is what the Huns will do, as they have entered our area, and what this army will decide to do. So I think once again we have a turn. Okay, so there is quite a large army near Mediolanum. At least Aals was not assaulted just yet. And these guys seem to be getting angrier by the turn. The defenders in Colonia Dacia are starting to take some casualties. In Lepsis Manga, could we have some mercenaries? No. And I think we should be able to take Purdikala rather easily. And an achievement by Byzantium unlocked. And we have a victory. So, thank you very much for watching. If you like the content, please leave a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. That will help a great deal, and if you turn on the notifications, you will be informed whenever a new video is released. I think I will put some links to historical documentaries about Emperor Justinian in the video description, so if you are interested about historical Emperor Justinian, feel free to check those links out. And feel free also to post comments and so on. Have a great rest of the day. Quality Old Games out.